everyone! This is This Normal, brought to you by the Center for Positive Sexuality and Exclusive Restraint Corsets. I am your host, Emily Pryor, and my co-host, Simone, is MIA yet again. I'm beginning to wonder. I wonder if she's sort of abandoned us and she's not willing to tell us about it or something. Actually, what I heard is that she's still working on some puppets for some children's show that we're not allowed to mention on the air. So, I'm flying solo again. I don't have any help, so we'll see how. Well, you know, I've got help behind the camera. But
you've got us in the peanut gallery.
I've got you guys there and everybody in the chat room and stuff. So, you know, be interactive. This is an interactive live thing, so send us questions and stuff. First of all, we've got some things coming up with the center the rest of this month and then into October. So, this month, next week on the 28th, which I think is Wednesday, at 7 Pacific time, in our Second Life Center, we're going to be doing our next monthly discussion group. And this month's topic that has been chosen is power exchange. Last month, we did a discussion group on zoophilia. It was very well attended. It was a really interesting discussion. It went very, very well. I was really happy about it. And it went for over 2 hours. I actually ended up having to leave because I was done and I was tired, but they kept going. And it went really, really well. I was really impressed by it. So next week on the 28th, we're going to be discussing power exchange in our Second Life Center. Then the day after that, on the 29th, we're going to be debuting a new live online class through Creative Sexuality. And the class is Getting the Sex You Want. And we're going to be talking about how to negotiate and communicate your sexual needs with either a new partner or an established partner. And that's going to be at creativesexuality.org. You can register now. You can register up to, I believe, maybe up to 15 minutes before the class starts. And the classes will be held at 1 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 7 o'clock Pacific time next Thursday. So depending on what time zone you're in and what time works best for you, pick one, sign up. I have no idea how much it costs. I think it's $15. And it'll be a 1 hour live interactive class. And on Is This Normal, later on in October, we have, on the 14th, we have Voluptuous Entertainment coming back in. And they are putting together a special routine for us. They're going to be doing a routine for us. And they have a show coming up, a live show on October 22nd. And I didn't bring the stuff with me. I don't know when, like where and exactly what time and stuff. But if you go to voluptuousentertainment.com, you can buy tickets for their show on the 22nd. And I highly recommend it. They're really, really lovely ladies. If you haven't seen them on our show before, it's a BBW burlesque group. And they're putting together a special thing, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then on October 28th, I guess we will be having our third Halloween show? Third Halloween show. On October 28th. Wow. And our guest for that evening is going to be Adrienne Akers, who is one of the Center for Positive Sexuality's presenters. And she presents on disabilities and sex. And so she's going to be here, and we're going to interview her, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about disabilities and sex, and we'll probably also talk about her own nonprofit educational organization, Geodes, where she works on helping communication between abled and disabled people. So that will be really, really great. We're also getting our college presentations underway for the fall. We already have, wow, a lot of bookings, actually, for the fall already. So if you're part of a college or university or even a organization that would like to have people from the center come in, we've got a bunch of different things going. We have SM panels, we have things on polyamory, we have our disabilities and sex, and we've been asked to do a new one this semester on sexual diversity. And so we're doing a sexual diversity panel, which will be really, really interesting. I'm really looking forward to doing that. And so, you know, or if you have another topic that you want us to do, or if you want a guest lecturer for a class or something like that, you need to come to the site and check us out. Get us hired, you know, keep the money flowing there. Also, September 24th tomorrow until October 1st is Banned Books Week. And we celebrate banned books here, and we celebrate banned books at the center. I actually put a few titles out there that have been banned books in the past. And myself and one of our other co-directors of the center, we're celebrating by going to the Santa Barbara Book Fair tomorrow, which we enjoy doing every fall for banned books. But you can also support the center, which then ends up supporting our free show here, by checking out Fairy's Books on Amazon. There's a link to it from the front of our website, and half of all the sales from Fairy's Books go to the center. In November, I'm actually going to be formally presenting my thesis to the various leather SM communities in Los Angeles. I'll be presenting at the Lair and presenting at Threshold. And if any other group organization wants me to do that, I'm happy to do so. Just contact us through the site. For those of you who don't know, I did research on women's perspectives of BDSM Power Exchange, so I'm going to be formally presenting that in November, so that'll be fun. So I guess I have to, put that presentation together. But eventually. Also, last weekend, Tim and I were invited to Tucson. We went to Tucson, Arizona. I have my t-shirt on. And we went to Behind Closed Doors in Tucson, which was presented by Desert Dominion, which is the Tucson's leather SM group there. And it was a really, really great weekend. And Tim was invited to present his rape roleplay presentation. And I got to be the rapey, I guess. We tore up some clothes and screamed rape at the top of our lungs, and it was a lot of fun. And I showed people how to be a willing victim and how to properly struggle and still get tied up. And
that was awesome.
And how to fight back without actually hurting your partner. And we did a lot. It was a good time. We had a good time, and I thank Desert Dominion and everyone there who invited us. It was a really lovely time. We had a nice time. Our special guest this evening is someone that we all know and love, and very, very recently we were invited to a very special showing of his newest DVD and clips release. And so, without further ado, I will bring in the amazing Jon Woods.
I need a drink.
I understand. Let's all drink to that.
The chat room's going wild.
Really weird. I'm sure most of those people in the chat room would know and have met me, probably, so. Anyway.
It's helpful to have fans, isn't it? So thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
I'm sorry that I didn't get things into a workable format. It means you all just have to buy the videos.
That's right.
That's right. Buy your porn, damn it.
Buy your porn.
Well, actually, to fully appreciate, we're mostly talking about the Claw Chronicles.
There you go.
Okay.
The Claw Chronicles.
Right. This is it's on the splash page of American Damsels right now. But because
nice.
usually when I try to put out a new DVD, I always do a little American Detective Magazine mock-up cover for it.
Let's start sort of at the beginning with this particular video. How long was this in the making?
Many years.
Many years. What was the first setup that you shot that ended up in this film?
Let's see. Shortly after Lori and I got together as a couple, many years ago, her first open mind media studio was somewhere on Coldwater Canyon in North Hollywood, Sherman Oaks area, and that was the first thing. It was probably 97 or 98, I'm guessing, because because Kelsey Chambers in it, and that was where that particular scene was shot. And I guess I just finished Revenge of the Claw, and I wanted to continue. It's like, where else can you go with this story? So I wanted to do this family history. And so, wanted to get little excerpts from all throughout the ages. And so, the thing was, I wanted it to be done well and done right. So every now and then the opportunity would come up to shoot a segment for it. But for my overall plan, year after year after year, there were 3 impossible scenes that I could not get shot. And so finally, about 8 years ago, I left Harmony. And for Oko Cork and Jack Banner and I, when we left, Mr. Herman let us keep anything that we did not have released. So luckily, I managed to keep all the content from this. So in effect, I think this probably may be considered the very last Harmony video, because for one thing, I know Oko Cork did shoot some scenes with his wife Shauna Lake. He may have actually saved some scenes that he shot with Andrea Neal. Don't know. Don't quote me on that. But considering that his career has taken a different turn, it's not likely that that's ever going to be released. As for Jack Banner, I don't know. He stayed on longer than Oak and I did on staff, so he may have actually released everything that he shot for them. So in effect, this is really like the last Harmony video, as far as we know. And so.
And Shauna Lake is in this as well. We don't see her on the front, but she was in it.
Oh, that's right, she is.
Yeah.
And yes, and so it was probably the last released video of Kelsey Chambers, Johnny Black, who was more of a regular adult star, who then quit the business, moved to the Midwest, Dorian Grant, and Sabrina Stone as well, probably their last video appearances. So here, I left Harmony about 8 years ago, and I managed to keep all this footage. I still wanted to get those 3 impossible scenes to make it nice, to fill in the gaps in the history. And mostly because I could not get the sets and the props that I wanted. Was not. But I did get Andre, the Toon Man, to do drawings of those missing scenes.
Yes.
So, one was the Claw's ancestor back in the Wild West, who was Blackjack Claw.
Blackjack Claw.
Yes. And not far from the Harmony office, there was this little store. It was like a general store kind of thing. I thought it would have been nice to go down next block over and rent them for the setup shot. But of course, could not get railroad tracks. There were some on Chandler that we used back when Laura and I shot many years ago, and they ripped it all up.
Yeah.
And so Blackjack Claw, one of those scenes. More recently, in case there should be a sequel, Claire Adams and Damien Pierce were living out in Colorado or something, and I guess they had access to railroad tracks. So God knows, someday this scene may actually be shot. I'm hoping that when Damon comes to rescue Claire, that he can ride a horse. So you can't start learning now, Damon. Then a little later, after the 1880s, you get to the turn of the century, and we have Jasper Claw, who was in the Great Northwest, and of course we could not get a sawmill. Funny enough, here we are in North Hollywood, where they shoot a lot of stuff, and I went around to all these places saying, "Have you got a sawmill? got the giant buzz saw with the log thing?" Nobody has this stuff. It was sort of like those cannibal people looking for the giant kettles to cook people in. They could not find one either. You'd think it's fairly common.
You'd think in Hollywood you'd find that stuff.
You'd find
Buster Keaton Studios,
a cauldron big enough for a person. But anyway. And
why is this not available?
So anyhow.
If it's not available here, where else do you go?
Well, actually, there's the funny thing was there in Moorpark, California. There used to be this little theater called the Mighty Moorpark Players. They did melodrama. All these cheer the hero and boo the villain. Very corny, campy productions that they did. And they went out of business. And I called them up shortly after I found out they went out of business and asked them if they had any of the props left over. I thought maybe they would have a sawmill.
Yeah, absolutely.
But instead, no. Didn't have it.
So if you have a sawmill,
Yeah.
let us know.
The Crooked Claw's father, who was who was he? the Black Claw? The Masked Claw?
Only you would know.
Well, it's on the video,
on the
which we can't see.
MCH says Elder Claw.
Yeah.
Yes.
He, in the video, we see where he met Maw Claw.
Right.
And how that happened. Before that, though, was going to be more of a direct homage to the actual roots of the Claw. When Lorelei created him, she had sort of Penelope Pitstop and the Hooded Claw in mind. And so I wanted to get someone, I don't know, probably someone like Stacey Burke, who could do the goofy cartoon character. And I wanted to change to a very cartoon-looking place, like a miniature golf course with all, or something like that. And then catch her and put her underneath a weighted pendulum blade like this. So. But of course, I could not get the giant bladed pendulum or a place to swing your giant bladed pendulum blade. So that much. By the way, this is another of those goofy things. I wonder what he's got there is the fabulous Crosby Diamond. And only you have to be a certain age to appreciate that joke, I guess. But,
well, that's fantastic. I think that's wonderful.